Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. Welcome to the day of bad luck and weird occurrences that just kind of rev you up and get you ready for Halloween, which is right around the corner. Today's Friday the 13th also features a full moon and the 50th anniversary of Scooby-Doo, so that's cool, I guess. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into some of the bad luck that I have had on today's Friday the 13th. Warning before I go into these, many of these are completely petty, but as it is Friday the 13th, every little bad thing that ever happens is completely the fault of whatever supernatural force reigns over this weird holiday. So let's dive right in. Alright, so I wake up, roll out of bed, it's about 7 in the morning, and I am tired. I do not want to do anything, but of course, I have class. This, of course, is the first piece of bad luck that I have on Friday the 13th, namely, having classes on a Friday in college. Now, there's not any worse luck that you could have in college than having classes on a Friday, because Friday is the day that everyone goes out, has fun, parties a little bit. Meanwhile, you're stuck going to class. And class, while it can be fun if you have, I don't know, an anime class or something, it's still class. So, as I said, number one, having class on Friday the 13th. Number two, I had to do a water sampling thing for my seminar. The seminar that I've spoken about in multiple videos, the seminar that I hate. Anyways, they gave me a building that I have to go and sample the water for in order to basically test if it is safe. So I go ahead, look up the directions to the building, and kind of figure out how that's all going to work into my day. Then, scrolling through social media, as every Gen Z kid does, I come across something that says there's going to be a protest today. A protest that's not at any location, but at the location that I need to get water from. Well, that's great. I guess I'm not getting water today. Strike two. Not being able to get my darn water sampling project done because there's a protest. Ah, Friday the 13th, aren't you just the absolute worst? Alright, then I go ahead and go into my discussion. The most grueling, horrendous discussion about anime. And now, I know a lot of you are probably like, what the heck bad could happen in an anime class? Well, let me tell you, today in anime class, the worst nightmare happened. For a lot of days, there has been this other Rachel, this Rachel S, that they keep calling in attendance, and they keep not being there. And so I, obviously, have declared in the previous times in my mind that I am the only one and true Rachel of this discussion. But today, the other Rachel dares. She dares to come in and show her face. In this room that there is not room enough for two Rachels in, she waltzes on in there. And Rachel S becomes a reality. Strike three, having someone with my name walk into my anime discussion. Telling you, it's just the worst day I've ever had. Then I go ahead and go to Panda Express to get my typical meal. I go ahead, order my food, grab some chopsticks, go to my table, and attempt to break my chopsticks open, as you do, because they're the cheap wooden chopsticks. But since they're the cheap wooden chopsticks, I break the chopsticks open, and they splinter all over the place. And they splinter right in the places that you have to hold them when you hold chopsticks. So for the rest of the meal, I'm desperately trying to figure out a way to hold these chopsticks without getting the splinters in my skin. Strike four, splintering chopsticks, when I'm desperately just trying to get that orange chicken, that succulent orange chicken that I can't get because their chopsticks are splintered. Then I go ahead and go over to my physics class. And I go ahead and sit down and I look over to my right, and lo and behold, there is a water bottle. And this water bottle obviously is of high quality, and I see it, and you may not think this is bad luck at first, but let me tell you, I have been looking for my water bottle that I've lost for a long time, and I have not been able to find it. So seeing this water bottle brought up these feelings of sadness and slight rage within me. Such things that are and must be the result of Friday the 13th. But to make matters even worse, the person who left their water bottle actually is intelligent enough to come up and ask for it back. And so I then have to give them their water bottle, like I will never be able to receive my missing water bottle again. Strike 5, being reminded that I am completely forgetful and that is a very sad thing for me. Alright, the next thing that I did is I went ahead and I walked on over to my next class, my English class. And while I was walking over, I decided to go ahead and buy a drink from the vending machine. Now, my favorite drink, as I think I've said before, but I will make it very clear again, is Mountain Berry Blast Blue Powerade. And Mountain Berry Blast Powerade was said to be in this machine. So I go ahead and swipe my card and wait for about 20 minutes, it seems, for it to authorize because, God, these machines are old. And so after I wait all this time thinking that my card's just going to end up being on there for any random person to use, so I have to stay and watch it. Once it finally authorizes, I guess I could put a mini strike in there. Once it finally manages to authorize, I just go ahead and try to get my blue Powerade, and it says sold out. What do you mean sold out? Strike number 6, having sold out Powerade. I then go to my next choice, this dragon fruit vitamin water, which I honestly don't know why I choose it, but it's interesting to me and it's different from what they have in most of the other like drinking fountains. So I'm like, okay, I'll go with this. And guess what? It's also out. Strike 7, being out of dragon fruit vitamin water. And then I finally managed to get something, and then I go up to my English class. And now in my English class, we're talking about this very controversial subject, and we're all like having this heated discussion, and I raise my hand and I have the best idea ever. I know exactly what I'm going to say. It's brilliant, it's genius, it's exactly what I want. And the teacher picks me, and I blank. Entirely. I just blank. I can't think of anything. I don't know what my name is. I don't know where I came from. I don't know who I am anymore. Mini existential crisis. But I just completely blank. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I blanked. And he's like, and you know, the whole class laughs. And then he moves on. And the next person says exactly what I was thinking, the exact brilliant insight that I had had, and gets all the credit for it. Strike 8, having someone actually remember what they were going to say when I couldn't. The absolute worst thing in the world. And so, after all these things happen, I walk to my dorm completely defeated by Friday the 13th, feeling that this bad luck day has so overcome me that there is just nothing that could make it better. It is just done and dead, and I am just ready to go to bed. And then I get a text on my phone, and I'm like, oh, what is this? This gonna be anything good. And it ends up being from someone who I hadn't spoken to in months. Someone who I had used to be really good friends with, but because of a one-night occurrence and one heated discussion, we kind of broke apart, and it kind of fractured our group. And they go ahead and text me, and they say, hey, I'm sorry for what happened that night, and I want to be friends again. And in that moment, it was kind of like all those petty things just kind of vaporized. And to be honest, making this video was very hard because trying to think of all these things is very difficult because the amount of light that just enveloped all of the darkness that I had been having in my day was pretty much blinding. Being able to hear from this friend again was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me today. And it has just put me into this ecstasy ever since then. And I am just so thankful to be able to talk to my friend again. So, in conclusion, thank you, Friday the 13th. You have had some downsides. I have listed them extensively. All of the horrible things that I've had to suffer through today. But I do have to thank you because you brought a friend that I thought was lost back. And I am so looking forward to being able to talk to that friend and have jokes with that friend and go to D&D sessions with that friend again. So, I guess we're even Friday the 13th. I appreciate it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you had anything happen to you today that was in any way unlucky, doesn't matter how petty it was, you saw how petty a lot of these things were. Go ahead and put that in the comments down below. I would love to hear it. If you've had a bad day or a good day, also let me know in the comments down below. I really do care how you guys are doing. It really does mean a lot to me to be able to communicate and that you guys actually watch these videos, which I still think is probably the luckiest thing in the world. So that's pretty darn cool. Anyways, I hope that you guys soar high and enjoy the ride of life. And have a great day. Bye.